I'm excited to introduce our very special guest today, Mrs. LaDonda Porter from Beaumont Middle School. I'm a little biased because I jump in her class every day with my own daughter. It's the class that my own daughter looks forward to, and we know it's not easy to get a sixth grader excited about going to class, but she jumps up every morning and she jumps on her class very first thing. So that should tell you something right there. With that being said, Mrs. Porter, I will let you take it away.
All right, thank you so much. Well, again, I'm LaDonda Porter. I teach PE at Beaumont Middle School, where I have been my entire 14-year career as a PE teacher. And I just was so excited that Kelly asked me to come on and do this presentation for you guys for specials at home, because a lot of you know sometimes teaching our class from home is not very easy. So I hope with this presentation that you take at least one thing away to utilize with your classes as well. So let's hop right on to it. So our agenda, we're going to learn a method to deliver our specials at home with the use of a weekly calendar that I'm going to share with you guys, and how you can actually embed that in with Google Classroom, because that's the platform that I use at Beaumont to deliver instruction to my students. The outcome for this, I hope that you utilize at least one new idea that you learned from today to use with your specials class. And even if you're not a specials teacher, you can still utilize this as well with any content whatsoever. So with that being said, how can I deliver instruction to my students at home that makes sense? That was the process that I was left with when we got the news that we were not going to be returning back after our 2-week hiatus for this whole COVID-19 spiel. So for those 2 weeks plus the week we had for spring break, this is the question that I pondered in my brain. So the power of the PLC, so the personal learning, the professional learning community. I am on an island of one, so I'm the only PE teacher in my building. So there was really no one I could go to kind of bounce ideas off of when I was trying to figure out how I was going to deliver instruction to my kids. So I talked to one of my girls that I go to all the time, Robin Walker. She teaches at Westport Middle School in Jefferson County, and she used to teach here in Fayette County as well. So me and her were just talking like how we're going to do this with our kids. And I always check in on stuff on Twitter to see what's going on. And she sent me this calendar, which is from Walled Lake Schools. I think they're based out of Florida, I want to say. Don't quote me on this. But she sent me this calendar, and I was like, man, this could be it. This could be the way for me to easily deliver instruction to my kids so they can know exactly what they need to do every day for the entire week. And so as I was going through this calendar and I was trying to figure out how I can make it my own, I kind of tweaked it a little bit. So this is what my kids see. So I develop it in Google Slides. I embedded the links inside of the days of the week, gave them a little bit of instruction as to what they were going to do. And then I gave each day kind of like a little quirky title so that the kids can kind of know what they can expect to be doing for each day of the week. And I was like, yes, this is going to be a good idea. So a little bit of background information. Beaumont's elective classes are A day, B day. And I knew with this whole NTI, there was no way I was going to be able to keep up with A day, B day, because some days, some kids will have PE 3 days a week, and some of them would only have it 2 days a week. So I was like, no, bump that. We're not going to do A day, B day. So I'll just give them a little something to do every single day that doesn't take a whole lot of time, and they can each actually have some type of physical education every single day. So that's where I went with that. So then I went ahead and I posted it to my Google Classroom. So this is kind of a snapshot of what it looks like. So for week 1, I put what the Google slide as a start here first, and then I put the activities underneath of the ones that I was actually going to be assessing or grading for the kids. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting all these emails. The kids are so confused. And here in my brain, I was like, oh, this is a piece of cake. They got a calendar. Here it is. Do what you need to do. Click on the links, whatever. But no, I was getting tons of emails from parents, from kids. I'm so confused. I don't know what to do. I clicked on the image, pulled it up. What now? So then I had to go back and fix it again. So instead, I put the Google slide in its own materials and put all the assignments underneath. The Google slide still had the links embedded inside of it. So if the kids wanted to click on it, it would take them exactly where they needed to go. But in case they didn't, the assignments were still listed under the classwork in Google Classroom. So that's how I derived to week 2. So I made some tweaks from week 1, fixed it for week 2, hoping that would ease a lot of the confusion that my kids were having from week 1 to week 2. But the struggle was still real. The kids were still struggling, still getting emails. I don't understand why I didn't get full credit. I don't understand how to get to the assignment. So then I realized that start here piece was one step too many for my kids to work with inside of the Google Classroom. So that was like my gasping moment, my aha moment. So as week 2 was going on, I just decided to sit back and do a little bit more reflection. So I thought to myself, how can the kids know what they needed to do? How did the kids know how to do it? Where can they find it when they figure out what they're supposed to do? What do they do with it once they've done it? And the all-time question is, do I have to do it? So if they needed to know whether it was an assignment that I was actually grading or not. So then I came up with this. I then took that idea of the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday that you first saw in the beginning. I told them what the activity was for the day, what they needed to do with that activity, how they actually have to go about turning it in, and whether that assignment was graded or not. So then I thought, this is it. This is how it's going to be delivered from here on out. I think the kids are going to get it and it's going to be all good. Yeah, that's what I thought. So then after tedious hours of grading on Sundays, I'm talking like 6-7 hours, guys, no joke, of grading these assignments. By that point, I was kind of over it. So I then took away the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday concept and came up with a choice board. So the kids then decide what 2 activities they wanted to do for the week, which makes my life so much easier. I've been doing this since week 3, and it has been like heaven sent, I swear. So I still give them the activity, still tell them what to do, still tell them how to turn it in, but then they have a choice of what they wanted to do. And I told the kids, if you want to do all 5, you go right ahead and do all 5, but you're only going to get credit for 2 assignments for the week. And so when I then put it into Google Classroom, where it took away the confusion for my kids. So again, I've been doing this since week 3. Instead of me putting the calendar inside of the classwork, I only put the calendar inside of the stream. So that way the kids saw it as an announcement, which I gave them that announcement on a Saturday so they can kind of sneak peek, see what's going to be going on in PE for the next week. They can kind of decide what 2 they want to do. And then when they go into the classwork of Google Classroom, those same 5 activities are already listed there, and all they have to do is click on it and they find the links that they need to complete that activity. So thumbs up to myself because it's been working, and I'm very glad that it's been working because the first 2 weeks was insane. So let's talk a little bit about the activities that I use to engage the kids. Now that you see kind of how I deliver it, this is some of the things that I've been doing. So this is the ones that Kelly's been doing with her daughter, which I'm very grateful that the parents are actually engaging in some of these activities because I kind of hope that they do. So what used to be the Minute Monday is what I use for the Flipgrid activities. And if you guys are not familiar with Flipgrid is my jam. If I could have a t-shirt that says Flipgrid rocks, I would totally rock it every single day. So with the Minute Monday challenges, I wanted to make sure that my kids, not only were they doing it, but they weren't lying that they did it. So what I did is when I went into Google Classroom, I basically created the grids that you see here. So the first one we did was the Minute Monday, which was a fan favorite. And if you guys can see, I had 169 kids engaged in this activity, which is huge for NTI. If you can see, the numbers kind of go down as the activities progress because that's when I implemented the choose 2 activities starting in week 3. So not everybody chose to do those Minute Monday challenges. So I would share out on Google Classroom this link to my kids, which as you can see, it's very Google user friendly. So you can just copy the link, put it into your assignments in Google Classroom. And then the kids would then log in And this is the first thing they would see, in which I would actually, let me take you back to the start here. So I would give them the instructions. So this is what they see when they logged in. A copy of the video is in here so they could watch the video to see what they were supposed to do. Then they would go to the topics and they would find their class period. And y'all can see I have a whole lot of classes in PE. So they would find their class. And then here, they would record their response. You can see all the different responses from my kids. They would record their response so they can show me that they are doing the activity, and then they would submit it. And then I would go in and view it from the educator portion. And then I would give them a score for what they did. So it was super, super, super easy. So if you don't use Flipgrid, by all means, you should be trying to use Flipgrid. If my kids were struggling with Flipgrid, then I gave them a Google Form option, which I also house that in the classwork of Google Classroom. So I'll go down to week, one of the weeks so you can see it. So for here, they would actually have a Google Form version. Same idea as Flipgrid. They would put their first and last name in. They would put the class period that they are in. I asked them a question if they beat me in the challenge or not. And then you have an option in Google Forms if you want them to add a photo or a video. So I would have them verify it to make sure that they're not cheating. And they would add a video of themselves actually demonstrating the activity as well for me to verify. And it would actually go into my Google Drive so I could go back and see the video of the kids doing the activity. So that's just one way that I engage my kids for NTI. I also have a Zoom that I do with my kids once a week to kind of check in with them, see their faces. And the first 2 weeks of Zoom, basically we just sat and talked to see how things were going with the whole NTI deal. So it was really nothing that was really planned, so to speak. But here, starting the third and the fourth week, and even this week, I kind of switched up how I did my Zoom talks with my kids. So the third week, I did a virtual scavenger hunt, which I actually put a copy in this slideshow that I would be willing to share with everyone on how I did that scavenger hunt. So I could get the kids up and moving and make it a little more engaging when they came in and hung out with me for the Zoom on Tuesdays. And that was probably my favorite Zoom session of all the things that I've ever done. This past week, I did a lifetime activities bingo, which was really, really pretty cool as well. So I was able to kind of embed a little bit of content with my kids. So I created a slideshow that I did with them, and they watched it via Zoom so they could hear me presenting. And then after it was over, which it's this guy right here, so I actually created this in Google Slides, and then I voiced over it with my screen recording and saved it. And then I uploaded it into my Google Classroom for the kids, for me to, so I can have it. And then I presented it during our Zoom. And then after it was over, my kids then were able to open up 2 screens at the same time so we could still Zoom. And they were still able to access the bingo card for them to participate in the Lifetime Activities Bingo. And if you guys are not familiar with this program, there's an online software, well, it's just an online program called Bingo Baker, and it allows you to create bingo cards online, and it makes random cards like up to 30. So when the kids click on this link, they all get their own individual random bingo card, and they actually get to click right on the screen to blank out the card. So it was super fun, and it was fun watching the kids have, oh my God, I need one more, I only need one more. And it just made the Zoom so much fun. And I only do Zoom sessions for a half an hour, and the half an hour was burnt up just like that, just from doing these activities where we're a little more engaging on Tuesdays. Work It Out Wednesdays, which is just now Work It Out. I have discovered, thankful for this guy that I follow on Twitter. His name is @PhysEdReview, and he actually utilizes his Google Sites in a way that is like another aha moment for me. So what I was able to accomplish on Google Sites is where my PE at Home link is where I housed a lot of my workouts for my kids. So for workout week 1, I was able to do 3 things. They got the slide of the activity that I wanted them to do. I was able to give them music to tell them when to draw a card and when to exercise. And the really cool thing is I was able to embed another link to this deck of cards. So in case a kid didn't have a deck of cards at home, I was able to provide it for them. So all they had to do was shuffle it. And when they click a card, it tells them it's diamonds. So then they would do the exercise for the diamonds. And then when the music told them to start it again, then they would shuffle. And then again, they would draw another card and it would give them another type of exercise. So it's been really, really incredible to be able to do this on Google Sites. And again, I just copied my link to my website, put it in Google Classroom, and the kids knew to click on that link for them to go to the website to complete their Work It Wednesday activity. And I'll show you some other ones that I embedded in. Again, I did a dice workout. So in case if a kid didn't have a die, then I had a PowerPoint, actual Google slide that I actually could put in, and the kids just clicked on the outside, anywhere on the outside of the white, it would give them a number. They would then click to return to go back. And then when they were ready to click again, they would click, totally another random piece of numbers, and then they would do it again until the workout was done. Again, I gave them music, so they didn't have to worry about finding anything. Everything was in a one-stop shop. I also did like as many rounds as possible. So I gave them a list of exercises, they had music, and they would try to complete as many rounds as they could until the music stopped. And then this is what the kids just did here recently. They got to choose their level in which they wanted to work out. I gave them music, and then they would complete a Google form for any of these workouts just to demonstrate to me that they've done it. And then there were some questions that were relating to the activity. So I knew that they did it if they answered correctly with the questions on the Google form. Another one that I do is YouTube actually has a Calm channel. Well, Calm is actually in YouTube. So that was, I would just provide links for my kids for Tranquil Thursday activities. And I also discovered when my kids did check-ins for me for the first 2 weeks, I kind of asked them questions like, are there things that I can do to make instruction a little better for them? And one of the answers that stuck out to me from one of my kids was, well, Miss Porter, I would love it if I could see more of my teachers. I'm okay with Zooms, but I would like to see more of my teachers in some of my assignments. So that's when I had another moment. I was like, I could totally do that because I like making videos anyway. So I then took some of those Calm videos and I was able to create activities in which I was a part of their Zoom. So I don't know if you all could see this. So then I had the instructions behind me, but I showed myself actually demonstrating the activities with the kids. So the kids then got to kind of have me lead their instruction, so to speak, with their activities, which has been great. So I got really good feedback from the kids when I asked them, was there anything different that you noticed about this week's Calm that you didn't notice in the weeks prior? And they were like, Miss Porter did the Calm with us and she was really good, which I was like, yeah, go Porter. But anyway, so that's something that I've been more intentionally doing with the kids to kind of have me be a part of their lesson for that particular day or time. So that's been really cool. Again, for the free-for-alls, I did for the first 2 weeks just a Google form check-in because it was our first couple of weeks of NTI and I wanted to just see how the kids were doing. Some other things that I've been doing, again, the free-for-all, I pretty much said it could be anything that Ms. Porter wants to throw in for that last activity. So I've discovered that EdPuzzle, Brainpop, and Quizzes all integrate seamlessly with Google Classroom. And if you're not familiar with these programs, EdPuzzle is basically where you can take a video, YouTube video, anything like that, and you can create questions based on what they see. So here we go. We did ours over health-related fitness, so a way for me to basically deliver content to my kids. So with the EdPuzzle, I found just a YouTube video, entered it into EdPuzzle, edit it so I can actually put questions in for my kids to answer throughout the whole thing. And then they actually, EdPuzzle will let you know that there have been kids that have answered. So for instance, if I go here to my classes and I click on this class, and again, this started in week 3, so the kids had an option whether they wanted to do it or not. And then it shows you the kids that actually went in and did the EdPuzzle so that you can give them credit for that activity. So it's really, really cool. And see if I can get back in here in EdPuzzle. So here has the popular channels already in it. So if you want to just peruse any of these to see if they have anything maybe that's already relevant to your content that's already been made, you could use it already, or you can do a search and search for anything within your content area. And then you can actually take it and create the questions for yourself, or ones that have already been created and they already have questions. You can use that as well, and you can share it with your students via Google Classroom, which is really, really awesome. And Brainpop, another one that integrates well with Google Classroom. So what I did with this one is I reached out to RTRT, and he, since we have a building wide subscription, he was then able to give me my own code. And then I went in and entered that code, and then I created my own class within Brainpop. And then when I created my own class, it gave me a code that I could share with my students, and they would then go in and create their own username and password. So if you see here, I tell them what the code is. They would then go in, take that same code, enter it in, they would then submit, and it tells them that they're about to join PE, so they would create their own account. And when they did, I'll just show you guys what it looks like. It's taking a little bit. They would then go into this dashboard that comes up, and the dashboard would actually take them to a quiz that I have created for them. So it's just taking a little bit. So if it doesn't happen, it's all good. But then it takes them into a dashboard where they would see where it says physical education, and they would click on the assignment that I've created in there for them, which the assignment they did for that week was about exercise. So they would watch the Brainpop video, they would then complete the quiz, and then once it was finished, I could go into Brainpop and I could check to see what students completed the assignment and then gave them credit for that as well. The last one, which we're just started this week, is the quizzes, which if you're not familiar with quizzes, is almost like a Kahoot. So the kids would go in, again, another one that works great with Google Classroom. The kids would then go in. My task was to go into quizzes, and I would set this particular assignment up for them. And this is what they see when they click on it. So they didn't have to enter a username or password or anything, because I just added my Google classes into quizzes. And then they would actually just click on the link. Their name would already be pulled up, and they start the game, and they would do an assignment. This particular activity I had them do was about skill-related fitness. So they would read over the PDF first, and then they would go in and complete the quizzes, which is kind of like a game. So they want to be the top of the leaderboard. So if I were to click on it, I would start the game. And then you see all of my other kids that have played. And then they would just go on and start. And then it would pose a question, and then they would have to answer it. And of course, the quicker they answer, then they would then, oh, I didn't get it right. So they wouldn't get any points. And they have these cute little memes that they put in after every question, and you just want to be the one that's at the top of the leaderboard. So something really cute, really easy to actually engage them in a little bit of content when they are actually participating in your classes. So in this presentation, I actually have some of the links of the activities that I use to engage my kids. One I haven't discussed. I kind of wanted to save this one for last. I actually stumbled upon this one genially through Twitter. So another PE teacher had posted this board game she created, because they have all these templates of different slides and games that you can engage your kids with. And so I've been toying with the idea of trying to get a Monopoly game created for my kids to play. And so when we actually participated in the Monopoly game, my kids got this really cool board game that I let them participate. Oh, it was really fun. I think one of my kids was like, that is the best game I've ever played. And I want to keep playing more and more with my family. And I was like, yes, score. So it's free, but there's certain board games that are not free or certain templates that are not free. So this is what the kiddos saw when they clicked on the link, which for some reason the link wasn't working earlier. And I hope this pulls up because sometimes it's a little slow when I'm on Zoom. So this is the board game that the kids see. So if I were to present it, it took me about, no lie, 3 to 4 hours to complete this activity, but I can not only use it now, but I can use it even when we return back into the building, which is the great thing about this. So I have a die for them, which came straight from YouTube. All they do is play and pause, play and pause. The game pieces are totally movable, so they can play with as many people as they want. So for instance, if this person rolled a 6, when they stop here, all they have to do is hover over the muscular strength exercise, and they would demonstrate that activity for 15 times. And then somebody else would go. So then you would play and pause once again. They can move their game pieces to 3, hover over it, and then that's what they would demonstrate for the 30 seconds. So I'm really proud of this one that I was able to create for my kids to have for an NTI activity. I also included the 3 types of calendars if you would like to use with your classes, totally fine with it. And of course, if you have any questions, if you need some assistance, comments, shoot me an email through FCPS. I'll be happy to get back with you and help you in any way that I can. I'm by all means not an expert at this, but this is just stuff that I found that tends to work with my kids, and it also helps keep them engaged in this whole NTI ordeal. So thank you guys for coming. I hope you gained at least one good idea out of this whole presentation. And again, reach out to me if you have any questions. I'll be happy to help.
Ms. Porter, did you share the link yet, or do you want me to post that on the site?
You can post it on the sign-up sheet. That's totally fine.
Okay. So I will post this video and the link with this on our NTI site. We did have one question. Where do you get the music that you use for your assignments?
Oh, YouTube.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yes, and you just copy the link and embed it right into your website.
Perfect. And guys, Mrs. Porter, this was phenomenal. I'm so excited.
Oh, thank you.
I want to be in a classroom right now just so I can use these ideas. So just to tell everybody, there were so many amazing tools that were shared. And so if you have never used any of these, make sure to check our schedule because we are teaching these tools over and over. And we also have a lot of them already archived on the bit.ly/FCPS-NTI site. So you can check there or click on our office hours every day and one of us can help guide you through those tools.
Sweet. Hi, Miss Rodabaugh. I'll tell Myson you said hello.
I love it. Yay. Thank you so much, Mrs. Porter.
No problem. No problem at all. Again, guys, shoot me an email if you need any help. I'm here to help the best I can.